The Zephyrian council chambers fell silent as Admiral Vextar's claws scraped against the obsidian table. His reptilian eyes glowed with predatory satisfaction as he reviewed the intelligence reports spread before him. "The humans have rejected our ultimatum," he announced, his forked tongue flicking out to taste the fear scent in the air. "They refuse to surrender their outer colonies." Council member Hisara shifted her serpentine bulk, scales shimmering, with anticipation. "Foolish mammals. Do they not understand what they face? We are the apex predators of 17 star systems." "Perhaps," Vextar mused, "they need a demonstration." The Zephyrian Empire had conquered countless worlds through a simple formula: overwhelming force, psychological warfare, and the primal terror their species naturally evoked. Standing nearly 3 meters tall with razor-sharp claws, venomous fangs, and hide thick enough to deflect energy weapons, they were evolution's perfect killing machines. No species had ever successfully resisted them. Until now. 3 days later, the Zephyrian War Fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system, home to humanity's newest agricultural colony. 200 warships, each bristling with plasma cannons and fusion torpedoes, formed an intimidating wall of death. Vextar opened a communication channel to the planet below. "Humans of Kepler 442b, witness the might of the Zephyrian Empire. Your military vessels are outnumbered 50 to 1. Surrender now, and your deaths will be swift." The response came from a woman's voice, steady and unnervously calm. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Colonial Defense Force. We've received your message." "And?" Vextar prompted, expecting immediate capitulation. "We'd like to thank you for making this so convenient." Vextar's head tilted in confusion. "Convenient? Usually, we have to hunt our prey across multiple star systems. You've saved us the trouble by bringing yourselves right to us." Before Vextar could process the implications of that statement, his tactical display erupted in warnings. Ships were decloaking throughout the system, not just around the planet, but everywhere. Behind his fleet, beside it, above and below, hundreds of sleek human vessels materialized from seemingly empty space. "Impossible," Hisara hissed. "Our sensors detected nothing." Captain Chen's voice crackled through the comm again. "You see, Admiral, you made a fundamental error in your assessment. You assumed humans were prey because we're smaller than you, because we don't have natural weapons like your claws and fangs." Vextar's claws extended involuntarily as he realized his fleet was completely surrounded. "What are you?" "We're persistence hunters, Admiral. Do you know what that means?" On the tactical display, the human ships began moving in perfect coordination, their formations flowing like schools of fish or packs of wolves. They didn't attack immediately. Instead, they began herding the Zephyrian fleet into a tighter and tighter formation. Chen continued her explanation with the patience of a professor lecturing students. "On our home world, humans were never the strongest or fastest predators. We couldn't overpower a mammoth or outrun a gazelle. So we learned to hunt differently. We tracked our prey for days, weeks if necessary. We studied their patterns, learned their weaknesses, and when the moment was right, the human ships suddenly accelerated to impossible speeds, weaving between Zephyrian vessels with maneuvers that should have liquefied any organic crew. Precise surgical strikes disabled engines and weapons systems without destroying the ships entirely. "We struck with tools," Chen finished. Vextar tried to return fire, but his weapons wouldn't respond. His communication systems were jammed. His engines were offline. Around him, the entire Zephyrian fleet found itself helpless, caught in an invisible net that had been cast long before they'd arrived. "For 6 months we've been watching your empire," Chen's voice continued as human boarding pods began attaching to Zephyrian hulls. "We've studied your tactics, your technology, your psychology. We know that you rely on fear and intimidation because that's all you've ever needed. But fear only works on prey, Admiral." Vextar's cabin door exploded inward. Through the smoke stepped a human soldier, small by Zephyrian standards, barely reaching his chest. But the human moved with liquid grace, and the weapon in her hands hummed with barely contained energy. "And here's what you never understood about humans," the soldier said, her voice carrying the same unnervingly calm tone as her captain. "We've been apex predators longer than your species has existed. We just learned to hunt with our minds instead of our claws." Vextar lunged forward, claws extended, fangs bared. The human sidestepped effortlessly and touched something to his neck. Electricity coursed through his nervous system, and he collapsed, paralyzed but conscious. The soldier knelt beside him, her eyes reflecting a predatory intelligence that made his reptilian brain scream in recognition. For the first time in his life, Vextar understood what it felt like to be prey. "The thing about persistence hunting," she said conversationally, "is that it teaches you patience. We've been patient with your empire for a very long time, but patience has its limits." Across the system, the Zephyrian fleet surrendered without firing a single shot. The hunters had become the hunted, and they'd never even seen it coming. Captain Chen's final transmission reached every corner of Zephyrian space. "Congratulations, Admiral. You just picked a fight with the galaxy's top predators. We'll be in touch." The age of human expansion had begun.